So I got this comment a long time ago and I never got to it, so sorry about that. But in today's video, we're going to be going over that. We're going to be going how to do Afro house like chords. We're going to be going over the midis of my songs. We're going to be going over the melodies. And yeah, I'm going to teach you everything you should know about that. If you don't know who I am, my name is Afro and I make music, and these are my credentials. It's weird when I do that because I just kind of pause for a little bit, you know? Okay, so the first chord, I like to call it the long, short, short. And if you don't know what I mean by this, I mean this. You can see here that the first chord goes for 2 bars, and then the second chord goes for 1 bar, and the third one for another bar. And you have this 4-bar loop, and yeah, it's long, short, short. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, and yeah, you're like, okay, cool. Now I know that long, short, short is how to do it, but I don't really know how to do chords. First, I would highly recommend just looking up your favorite songs, seeing what key they're in, and then looking up that key on Google, and then kind of just following that key along. Like, this is literally a picture that you can find. You can just use this as a reference for your whole song, and then, you know, as long as you hit those keys that are in blue, you're gonna be fine. So yeah. Okay, so this type of chord sounds like this. But yeah, as you can see, the chords are super simple, super mellow, and you kind of want to have that relaxed like feeling to it. Especially for Afro House, you really want it to feel like super chill, super relaxing, and yeah. And you might be asking like, okay, where do I get the energy from and whatever? And as I said before in one of my other videos, all the energy is going to come from the percussion. So literally your chords are just going to be there driving the song little by little, but it's not the main element. So yeah, don't worry too much about it. Okay, so let's say like you're actually struggling with chords, you're still practicing it, but you want to kind of, you know, produce your first songs, you kind of want to be quicker. Or let's say you're one of those creative people that, you know, in the moment you need everything for now. You're like, I need it now, I need to be quick, if not my ideas get fucked. My recommendation for you guys would be to use sample packs, especially the ones from the producer school. And I'm not saying this because this video is in partnership with them, but like, look, I made this project back in April, and you can literally see TPS Oasis. Like, I didn't even have a YouTube channel back then, so you cannot come at me and say like that's bullshit. Like, no, this is legit. Like, I was using their product, that they reached out to me, and yeah. So let's take a listen to some of the chords that they have, and you guys be the judge whether it's good or not. This really helps out because you kind of have this template and you can really just kind of bounce ideas off of it. It's a really useful tool for chords in my opinion, and to kind of have like ideas on melodies, especially when you're starting out, because you truly don't know how everything works. And yeah, if you guys want to check them out, there's going to be a link in the description. It's not going to cost any extra. It's just going to help the channel out. So yeah, I would really appreciate it. But yeah, moving on. Oh my god, look how organized this is. Moving on to my second point. The short, short, long is exactly as the long, long, short, but short, short, long. So yeah, this is what that sounds like. And yeah, I've used this in my Lost in Paradise song, which is kind of like Afro-ish. It's not super Afro house, it's kind of like a chill vibe, but a lot of Afro house songs do use this method as well. And yeah, I know everything till now seems super basic and whatever, but I'm going to show you how to kind of spice things up a little bit. And we're going to keep using that short, short, long format. And this is my Back to You. So if you haven't listened to that, go stream that right now. This is the little cover art. You know, you can always add some variation when you're transitioning from the short, when you're transitioning from one chord to the other. And then what you can do, so it sounds like a bit more energetic because the chords are playing again, is splitting the long chord. Here's what it sounds like. And you might be asking like, okay, do I know how to do that? And there's really no easy way to say this, but it just depends on the project. This chord progression really works because of the vocal. It just goes with the vocal like that, and there's not much I can really do about it. It's just like, that's just how it's meant to be for this song. And that's why I didn't really want to do a tutorial on like midis and all this, because it's so situational. I can kind of give you a little blueprint, but you have to be the one that gets creative with chords. Not every project is going to be super complicated chords. Some chords are going to be easy. I mean, you saw it in my Lost in Paradise. It's just literally like clink, clink, clink. Super simple. But yeah, we're going to be moving on to the third type of chord that I like to call, and it's going to be the long chord. And that's just, each chord is going to be 2 bars, and that's how you're going to have your 8-bar loop. Okay, fuck it. I've been looking for forever for a project where I've been using this fourth and final chord progression template, whatever you want to call it. And this is like the short chords, and you can see it right here. It's just a 1-bar chord, and that's it. This is what it should sound like. And yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the chords. So when it comes to Afro House, a lot of chords are super simple and they're super basic and they're super long, and it gets really boring and repetitive. So this is what you do to spice it up. You add this little like accents, I guess you can call it. It's just gonna be like a little melody. They're gonna be super simple, don't overcomplicate it, but they're gonna sound great. This is what it sounds like without the little thingies. And this is with the ear candy. You can see literally 3 notes, how it kind of gives it a variation and it kind of carries the chords a bit. And it makes it super dramatic, and I fucking love it. It sounds super cinematic. Okay, so here we're gonna be going into more the melody side of things. We just talked about adding a little bit of ear candy to our chords. You can see these chords are super fucking basic. They literally repeat, and there's nothing special about them. But because I wanted to add some variation, I added this melody to those chords. I don't know if you saw it, but look, if I move this down, this literally lines up with my chords. When you're doing the melodies in Afro House, something that you can really do, because the melodies are going to be super simple, especially when it's like piano and whatever, is just follow your chords. You can do some variations in it. As you can see, it's nothing too crazy. I just moved it some octaves up, I think it was here. But yeah, we're going to listen to the chords itself without the actual melody, and then we're gonna listen to it with a melody, and then you can tell me which sounds better. Okay, so this is gonna be the chord without the melody. Super basic, super simple, but now with the melody, it's gonna sound like this. I didn't add any variation or anything, mostly because this song has a lot of other elements that are going on. And yeah, in the context of the song, this is what it sounds like. So yeah, as you can see, it works. I think it works. And if you guys want to get yourself a copy for this, I might actually release it before I release this video, or release it at the exact same time, so you can grab yourself a copy of this song. Okay, so I'm really struggling for the second part of the video because I really want to give as much information as I can, and I want to really help you guys out. But for this part, there's nothing that I can really do. When it comes to like the single repeating note melodies, or like the little arp melodies that go in the drop of Afro House, it is very song dependent, and there's not like a one way of doing it. There's really no one way of doing chords either. I'm just giving you some templates that I see myself using the most. But yeah, like when it comes to those single note melodies, I literally just sit down. I have my MIDI keyboard next to me, in front of me, and I literally spend hours just fucking hitting it. And sometimes I'm not happy. For example, I have this whole song, I've already mixed it and mastered it and everything, but this song's not ready. Like, I don't like the single note repeating melody. I'm gonna try an ARP, I'm gonna try something else. So I'm just saying, like, I cannot really help you guys out with this one. Just kind of fuck around and find out. Like, go sit down, vibe to it. If you don't have a MIDI keyboard, I know you have a laptop or a keyboard and you can press this, and if you use your keyboard, sound will come. So yeah, since it's a single note, figure out which key you want and just fucking press it with the rhythm and whatever. And yeah, one tip I can give is, let's say you already have that lead like percussion thing you want to do, or you have the ARP, you can kind of build your percussion around it and it sounds very coherent, very nice. And then the other tip I can really give is to give movement to your leads. And by movement, I mean like a cut up, you can use a phaser, a flanger, I have no idea how to pronounce it, but use some effects, give it some movement, and you know, don't make it super boring and dry. For example, I think this lead is not good for the project, but it's really good for the example of giving movement to something very fucking simple and basic. I mean, just listen to it. And you might be like, oh, okay, so how do I create the movement? As I said before, fuck around and find out. Like, I know I'm making a video on how to use MIDIs and how to do this, but there's no one right way on how to make music. Music comes down to taste. And I know it sounds weird coming from someone that's giving the tutorial, but I mean, I want to be as honest as I can with you guys. And as someone who's kind of been doing this for a little bit now, and I've gotten support from really big DJs and people that I really look up to, one thing I've been figuring out is like, okay, my genre is Afro house, but I need to do something to stand out about it. And yes, I think you can do some, you know, follow some reference tracks, you can do this and that, but it's honestly going to be the track that you create that's going to have that unique element that's going to be the one that blows up. It's not going to be the copy of Move that's going to blow up. It's going to be something that's unique and people haven't heard before. So that's why I was kind of hesitant on making this video, but always be experimenting and don't overcomplicate things. Excellent Sound did a video breaking down by G6 with Kashmir, and that fucking very popular song has 4 tracks. So don't overcomplicate your stuff, and honestly don't limit yourself just because you consider yourself a house producer or an Afro house producer or a techno producer. Like, you can always combine genres and get elements from different genres, and you never know what's gonna happen. For example, my song Back to You is kind of like a melodic house track, and it's not specifically Afro house, but I fucking love it. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I know the melody section might have been a bit disappointing, and then I have a little rant about, you know, kind of like being yourself, but I think it's important for people to hear. So yeah, if you do want to get yourself the Producer School sample packs, that's gonna be in the description down below. Hopefully the song is out, so if that song is out, that's gonna be under the first link in the description. You can get yourself a free copy right there. So if you guys end up playing that live, tag me on Instagram or on TikTok. I would love to hear it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.